and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I am Tyler Salam. It's great to have you join us again. All right, we're starting off the show with a bit of updates on the National Sports Festival, the 20th edition, Edo 2020. Deputy Governor of the state is saying pretty much that the new date is insensitive because it's just right after the holidays.
Exactly, he's talking about the athletes, especially that the PTF did not put the athletes into consideration before, considering that date for the National Sports Festival, which is January the 3rd. Also on the program is back to camp for all athletes that are going to the Tokyo Games. So in line with the promise made by the Minister of Sports, Youth and Sports Sunday, where he said that early preparations for the Tokyo Games for next year, it's definitely going to start. And of course, on Monday, they began in 3 centers across the country, having Plateau State in Port Harcourt and also in another state in Nigeria. So we are waiting and anticipating as athletes are returning to camp. The 3rd state happens to be Bayelsa State.
Fantastic for Nigerian athletes. There's really no time to waste. So it's back to camp for them ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Also on the show, the UEFA Champions League final match day today. A couple of crucial games will go down later tonight. None bigger than what's going to happen in the group involving PSG and Manchester United, as well as Leipzig and Istanbul. Of course, today also sees the much anticipated return or reunion of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo.
And also, we'll be seeing maybe Kepa, coming back since Chelsea already qualified for the Champions League.
Come on,
all right, that's where we're starting off the show this morning. We'll start with the PTF and, of course, the National Sports Festival. But exactly, we were talking about the Deputy Governor of Edo State, who happens to be the chairman of organizing committee of the National Sports Festival.
Yeah.
He's really not happy this morning, saying that, look, for PTF to have gone ahead to say January the 3rd, that's when we'll have the National Sports Festival. He feels that that date is really not cool for the athletes. We talked about the fact that it's being postponed, but athletes should understand they need to be training, so they can't just relax and, eating Christmas rice and all that and everything, be in celebration mood, but then all they have to do is to keep training, be in camp, preparing for the sport festival.
It's hard.
It's hard,
You talked about it the last time as well, too. It's just a very, very tricky situation for the athletes. It's Christmas. This is a holiday season,
festive season.
So it's always going to be very, very difficult, and that's why exactly what the deputy governor is talking about today. Let's listen to the deputy governor speaking on this date and how it's insensitive for athletes.
Well, Presidential Task Force approving 3rd of January. I thought it was the Ministry of Youth and Sport that is supposed to approve it. But since there are contradictions now, who now approves the National Sports Festival, we are waiting for them to communicate to us. As far as I'm concerned, I have not received any communication from them. I was only told by, I think the secretary told me that he got correspondent about the National Sports Festival, that they are proposing January 3rd to January 18th. And it brings me back to my earlier comment on the way things are done. You can, according to late MQ Abiola, say you cannot shave a man's head in his absence. And the implication of that is that we thought will have been put on the no, the way it was done before the date is fixed. But since they are fixed 3rd of January, fine for them. But to us, we feel they are not sensitive again to the environment. From now till January 2nd, we have Christmas, we have New Year celebration. So you are telling us to bring our athletes to camp all through this period. And 2 days after the New Year celebration, you start a tournament. For us, that again, you are not sensitive to the feelings of our people.
Yeah, I mean, he had to explain everything, the reason why he feels that that particular date is really not too cool for the athletes, because after the holidays, you want them to start a competition and all that. And it simply means most of the athletes that are competing for the National Sports Festival will have to be in camp while the festivities is actually going on. But another thing is, this year we've had the coronavirus disruption and all that. There was lockdown, and of course, I believe that most people really want to be with their families and celebrate, because for a while, some people actually stuck outside the country. They couldn't come in and all that. Now you're having the time to really come in. You want to be with your families. You don't want to be in camp or something like that. But we don't know what's going to happen yet. But with what the deputy governor is saying, he's not comfortable with it. Is the chairman organizing committee and all that? So if he's saying that, it simply means maybe the PTA will have to listen, and the sports ministry also will have to listen, and maybe they can come up with another date, because today's date is 7th, so we're looking at January 3rd. And if this is still very much not certain, it simply means we don't have the actual date for the National Sports Festival. I don't know if that's what is really looking like, Tayo.
Yeah, I mean, just, like I said, I was saying just before we came back.
Yeah.
It's the dates. From everything the Mr. Schreiber has said,
yeah.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense. It's just not very, very comfortable situation for the athletes. And these are the guys that you expect to come to the competition and, put up great performances.
Yeah.
How do they do that when they'd rather be, celebrating the festive season with their families? And how do they do that just 2 days after the New Year celebration? So it's not a very ideal date for them, and we have to really consider the athletes, because they're the ones that they're going to come and perform. So the only other way is for another postponement, and that will be for the opt-in time, postponing the National Sports Festival, perhaps.
January 15th, since it's a 2 weeks event. January
exactly,
15th, and then
it doesn't have to be so close to after the New Year. I mean, it's not set in stone for me, and I won't be surprised if it comes down to this at all, because the deputy governor is clearly not comfortable. I imagine a lot of athletes are not comfortable at all with that timing. But we're going to have to wait and see how it all pans out. And but as it is right now, January the 3rd to the 17th. That's the date we're looking at for the sports festival.
Okay, let's leave that.
All
And
right.
of course, we're talking about the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games in 2021. And of course, we know, in line with the promise made by the sports minister, he said that preparation is going to start early. And so by Monday, you already have athletes across different centers in Nigeria, having Bayelsa, Plateau State, and of course in Rivers State in Port Harcourt. So according to the director of Field and Elite Athletes, that's the acting director, Simon Ebojaye, said that the athletes will be camped in 3 weeks in Port Harcourt, Abuja, and Bayelsa. So in Port Harcourt, you have 14 track and field athletes under the supervision of 2 coaches. They're already in camp, and you have 8 para-athletes, 14 para-table tennis players, and 8 weightlifters are in camp, while 8 wrestlers are camped in Yenagoa, that's Bayelsa State. So they have coaches actually with them. So the first phase of the campaign was conducted at the High Altitude Training Center, the Federal College of Education in Plateau State, with 4 athletes in attendance. And so the Pashkin camp, which is in Plateau State, was also used as a prelude to reviving middle and long distance races in the country. So the first phase of campaign was held between November 20th and of course December 9th, while the second phase will start from the 7th, which was yesterday, to 24th of December. So 24th, they can leave camp and go spend the holidays and maybe resume some other time. We have the third phase.
That's it. No time to waste. The Olympics is just around the corner. So it's good to see that the Ministry of Sport have decided to continue preparations from where it stopped because of disruption and all of that. So fantastic for all the Nigerian athletes. They can focus and start focusing on getting ready for the Olympics. Now let's still talking about the Olympics. Yeah, we're staying with the Olympics, and now this time around, let's go to Thomas Bach, talking about there's going to be a few changes. Athletes are staying shorter than usual in camp, all because of COVID and the health protocols the Japanese government have in place, and this totally makes sense. We all knew the games wasn't going to be, the usual. Things were going to change. It was going to be a bit different, and that's why we have this situation on our hands. And I, as president, also encouraging athletes to get vaccinated. I mean, the vaccine is out there now. It's been approved. I don't think they can force anyone to do it. But the IOC president, Thomas Bach, saying it would be pretty cool for athletes to consider this vaccination for themselves and, of course, for their fellow competitors as well. Let's listen to Thomas Bach on this situation. There you go.
Okay, so athletes encouraging them, not just for yourself, but for other people around you. So, some athletes have already said, no, I remember Djokovic actually coming out to say that
way before
no, we were talking about, I'm not doing this and all that. So he's encouraging, Djokovic, if you want to go to the Olympics, please, just for the sake of other people around you, I mean, just have to do it. So that's what the message is passing out there.
Yeah, that's the message. It's a very good message, but it still boils down to these athletes. Some of them just have reservations about vaccines. Let's not go into the conspiracy theories. But they do have reservations, and you can understand.
And they have their reasons
why they don't want to do it as well, too. But if they're not going to do that, of course, there are other safety and health protocols in place to keep everyone safe. So either ways, I think we're going to be fine.
Of course, we will be fine.
On no vaccine, the Olympics will go ahead. Let's talk about this big news concerning the Olympics. Confirmation, ratification of breakdancing for the Paris 2024 Olympics. Cecilia, breakdancing is going to be an Olympic sport in 4 years' time.
It's not just breakdancing, you also have surfing, skateboarding, and sports climbing. So these are the sports that have won a spot for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. So the IOC actually ratified their inclusion on Monday. And Thomas Bach said, look, this is good because they want to capture the younger generation. We know how breakdancing is right here in Nigeria. I believe that if we have to have a federation for that, I mean,
let's get federation going, me and you.
You understand? I think we need to do that. Breakdancing federation get going. I think
in preparations for its debut at the Paris 2024 Olympics. It's going to join, like I said, surfing, skateboarding, and climbing. Those three sports actually will make their debut in Tokyo next year. So they're good already. But for breakdancing, it's going to be the first time as an Olympic sport in 4 years' time in Paris. And like we said, breakdancing, hip-hop culture, it's very, very popular with the young audience, which the organizers are trying to capture this time around. So overall, it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
And it's quite exciting. And we've seen pictures, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we saw a b-boy competition. I saw how exciting that was. So we're going to be seeing the b-boys and the b-girls. We have some of them in Nigeria already, and they can start planning for the Olympics right away, because you're going to get the opportunity to show your stuff, what you're made of, on a very big stage. They're going to be judged on their technical skill, also as creativity, style, of course, strength, speed, rhythm, agility, all will be confirmed for this particular sport.
Okay, Tayo, stop talking now. Let's listen to IOC President Thomas Bach talking about the ratification of breakdancing and other sports at the 2024 Olympic Games that will take place in Paris. For everyone, for the federation, and of course, for the younger generation that will be interested in breakdancing. It's fun. I mean, just having fun and winning medals and all that.
Yeah, imagine that.
I mean, I understand that, yes, a whole lot of technicalities we have to go into it. It's not just the body freestyling, because we saw one competition that was done was it Russia or something some time ago?
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago.
The
pictures from that one,
BC won, world finals and all that. I mean, it was fun. The DJ, the athletes coming in and all that. Just this is how you look, just normal people every day. And you have to do this, and then you have to win a gold medal for your country. I mean, what a way to do that. So we're just expecting that something like this.
So many Nigerians can do this.
Can do this a whole lot. I mean, I watch. I'm like,
personally,
okay.
if you guys
yeah, but this is crazy. It's as if she doesn't have bones at all.
Flexibility.
Girls, two girls. Be
flexible. You have to be very flexible. You have to be very agile. Of course, creativity will come into play as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all pans out. 4 years to go. Let's get a federation going for breakdancing in Nigeria. Let's leave the Olympics now and go to the NBA. We're still counting down, doing a build-up to tip-off on December the 22nd. The NBA will tip off, and all the teams are getting ready. This time around, let's focus on the Miami Heat. Got to the final a couple of months ago against the Lakers, lost expectedly, but that hasn't
lost expectedly.
That hasn't dampened the morale at all. They're going into the season very confident. We've seen pictures from their second practice. Jimmy Butler was the star for them. At the last season in the bubble, especially where he raised his game to a very high level, and he's been looking ahead, looking forward to the competition starting again. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. During the break, you saw highlights of a breakdancing competition, and that's what is likely going to look like the Paris 2024 Olympics. Imagine the B-boys and the B-girls that we have in the country. They're all very excited with this news about breaking being confirmed for the Olympics in 4 years' time. If we have any one of you guys watching us, of course, you can tweet at us, channels_sports, and tell us what you feel about this big news concerning breakdancing as an Olympic sport. Of course, the Champions League is going to get us talking shortly. Very interesting matches to talk about. There's the reunion between Messi and Ronaldo. There's also crucial games to be played in Group H, where you have PSG, Istanbul, Leipzig, and Manchester United. And there's the little matter of Pogba's agents coming out yesterday to say his client is not happy and wants to leave or will leave Manchester United very, very soon. And so much to talk about on the show. But let's focus on the UEFA Champions League now and focus on the group games that will be played today from Groups E to H. Starting with Group E, you have Chelsea taking on Krasnodar. Chelsea already through to the next round as group winners. Of course, they joined in the round of 16. That's Sevilla. Sevilla will take on Rennes. In Group F, it's Lazio versus Club Brugge, featuring Nigeria's Emmanuel Dennis. Bonaventure, they'll be taking on Lazio in Rome. There's also Zenit versus Borussia Dortmund. Group G is Barcelona versus Juventus. That's where we get to see Ronaldo and Messi face off again for the first time in a while, since 2018 to be precise. There's also the little matter of Dynamo Kiev and Ferencváros. Those two teams can no longer make it to the round of 16. Last but not the least is Group H, where you have PSG taking on Istanbul, and Leipzig and Manchester United facing off for sports in the round of 16. Of course, 9 teams are already through to the next round, so all the other qualifiers will be determined today and tomorrow. Bada Kitunde Johnson is on standby to join us now to talk about all this comprehensive preview of the games for tonight. Bada, good morning. It's great to have you join us on the show.
Hi, Tayo. Hi, Cecilia. It's great to be here. Morning.
Good morning. Now let's cut to the chase and let's start with the most anticipated reunion in football. Cristiano Ronaldo taking on Lionel Messi later tonight. Both sides already through to the next round, but there's still the little matter to play for who tops the group. What are you looking forward to seeing in this game? The coach already confirmed that Messi is available to play after missing the last 2 games.
Of course, Messi will be available to play. The old enemy is back in town. Uh, yeah, we missed the opportunity to see this great rivalry in the first leg because Ronaldo was out with COVID-19.
Yeah.
And of course, Barcelona went to Turin and beat Juventus. It was a very, very one-sided game. Barcelona dominated. Messi ran the show. Ronaldo must have been sitting on the sofa watching that game, seething with anger. Yeah, not being able to participate. But he does have his chance to exert some sort of revenge
Yeah.
today when he goes to what many might consider a ground where he's got some joy in the past. He's hurt Barcelona in some of those El Clasico games playing in the white of Real Madrid in the past, and it's a ground that he knows, is very familiar with very much. So, as you said, there's not a lot riding on this one in terms of consequence from a progression standpoint. Both of them are true, but there's a lot riding on it from just a spectacle standpoint. These are two of the greatest footballers ever in the history of the game, and wherever they go head to head, they don't like that. There's that rivalry there. They would go for the jugular. They would try to play their best on the day to outdo one another. Like Ronaldo did say at the Ballon d'Or ceremony, I think it was 3 years ago, when he said, "Oh, Messi's pushed me. I have pushed him." And to be consistently the two best players in the world for 15 years is no mean feat. So it's another celebration of that rivalry we're going to see tonight in the UEFA Champions League. It's going to be free-flowing, entertaining football. I have a feeling that Barcelona will control possession. Vendors will try to hit them on the break. But please don't bet against both of these guys getting on the score sheet, because that's what this game is about. Ronaldo and Lionel Messi flexing their muscles. Otherwise, it would have been a dead rubber between two big clubs in the Champions League. But this is by no means, stretch of the imagination going to be a dead rubber. It's going to be an exciting game of football. And Messi and Ronaldo will be treating us to some attacking football again.
Interesting, and because these two players, like you said, they have defined this era of football, and would definitely go down as two of the greatest players to ever play the game. That's why the debate is never ending. It's very exhausting, and the coach as well too has been reacting. Ronald Koeman was asked about these two players, and this is what he had to say. Tonight, let's hope we can get to enjoy these two great players face up against each other. Overall, it's 16 wins to 10 for Messi over Ronaldo in the Champions League. They've met 5 times, and it's 2 wins apiece and a draw. Let's leave that, Ronaldo and Messi. Let's move on to much more serious matters. Bada, Group H now. This is where the real action is for today in terms of qualifying for the round of 16. 3 sides still with a chance of progressing. Let's start with Manchester United going away to Germany to take on Leipzig. Not great news coming out of the camp, because Anthony Martial and Edinson Cavani have been ruled out. But of course, there's also the return, on a positive note, the return of David De Gea as well as Luke Shaw. Bada, just yesterday, there's no way we're going to talk about this match without talking about what happened yesterday. The agents of Pogba are coming out to say it's over for his clients at Old Trafford, and he wants to leave on the eve of a very, very crucial tie like this.
I was reading an article late yesterday where one of the columnists on the Daily Mail was saying that Paul Pogba's agent, Mino Raiola, seems to be attacking all of the soft spots, all of the deficiencies, taking advantage of all of the deficiencies of Manchester United as a football club. He feels that Manchester United under Ed Woodward has been vulnerable, and this is the one man who's taking full advantage of that at every point in time. He knows when to plug in these stories to make the rounds and distract the club and get his client the center of the attention when the attention should be focused on the club progressing in the Champions League. It would seem from a Manchester United standpoint like it was a very insensitive thing to say at a time when everyone should be focused on how United would navigate this very, very difficult trip to Leipzig. a ground where no one has won in recent times, where Leipzig have been really, really strong. And United would actually really have cause to worry, especially if, they still keep leaving us not knowing what United side would turn up. In the league, they have 9 consecutive wins away. But in the Champions League, they went away to Turkey. And that was one of the worst performances we've seen by a United side in recent history. So you really don't know what United side is going to turn up against this Leipzig side. But it better be the side that came back from 2 down against Southampton to win, or the side that beat West Ham. Better be that side, because Leipzig will be very, very difficult. They are still in contention to go through. They're playing at home, even though United nil in the first leg or in the reverse fixture. Leipzig has to be looked at as a super strong contender to go through, and maybe even slight favorites in this one, particularly because of the names that you mentioned that are going to be missing. Since the beginning of the season, even last season, Anthony Martial, even though he has failed to fully convince in that position, but he's played as a centre forward for United and also for France in Giroud's absence sometimes. Where he's fully convinced, it's a debate for another day, but he's been the one playing that position. And then Edinson Cavani came on. And like I said, in the week preceding his brace against Southampton, I thought that he was the more natural finisher and should be the one playing. But United have the curse of the 2 of them missing out of a very important game where goal scoring will be key. I can bet you, Tayo, Leipzig will score a goal or 2 in this one. So that's 1 point that will see them go through. They also need to score a goal or 2. So if Martial is missing and Cavani is missing, they've got to be looking at Bruno Fernandes or Rashford to bring the goals, because you look elsewhere in that team, in recent time, the goals haven't been really spread around like it was last season when Greenwood was scoring for fun, Rashford was scoring, Martial was scoring, Bruno Fernandes was scoring, Pogba was pitching in with the odd goal here and there. This season, it's been either Martial is scoring, Rashford is scoring, Fernandes is scoring. You really haven't had the support cast bringing in that many goals. Coming in the 90th minute, so it's a moot point really to talk about him. So I feel like this is a very dicey game for United, where they need all of their concentration and their A game to be able to get that much needed point, which I think they will get. But please do not bet against a Leipzig win, because that team is super strong. They are brimming with quality, and on their day, they can beat any top side in world football.
Okay, understanding that, but Manchester United coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's saying that, look, they understand that sometimes it can be inconsistent and all that, but they will rise up to the occasion when they face Leipzig tonight. Let's take a listen to him.
Games like this that mean if you can go through or not, they're big, and the players are here. They're Man United players because they have qualities that we've looked for, and I'm sure that tomorrow night will prove that that's the reason why they're here. They will show it. I think the character, the group is getting better and better, and you got to approach the game as in it's a 90-minute game. You know that anything can happen in any moment, so you can't sit back and hope for a 0-0 draw. That's not in our genes. It's not in the team's genes. It's not in the club's genes. We want to go out there and win a game of football. I think we showed that against PSG, that we wanted to go out and create chances. You have to create chances to score goals, and we'll do that again.
Okay, creating chances to score goals. You mentioned so many players, but there was one player that is actually missing, the natural number 9. I'm talking about Odion Ighalo. We know he hasn't played much game or much impact in the Champions League. Could you see maybe without Martial and, of course, having Cavani out, maybe Ole might just call upon him this time around?
I can tell you for free, Cecilia, that he's not going to play. And if he does play, he probably will come in the last 10 minutes of the game. Yes. I think one thing is clear this season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't have that much confidence in Odion Ighalo. Not anymore. Last season, Odion scored the flurry of goals in the Europa League particularly, but never really trusted him in the league season or even in the even in the Premier League, he doesn't start game. He doesn't come on, 20 to play, 30 minutes to play, always coming on when the game is done and dusted. Yeah. So that speaks of a manager who, in the pecking order, sees maybe Martial as his number one, number 9, sees Cavani as number 2, or depending on, when, Cavani might be number 1 and Martial number 2, and Odion a distant number 3. And in a game like this, I suspect that Rashford will lead the line, and he would have, the pace of Greenwood, and maybe play Bruno Fernandes as the third man in the attack. That's how I see United setting up tonight. There will be no space whatsoever for Odion Ighalo, which is sad because he's experience as a number 9 can help them against this Leipzig team that likes to play quite expansive sometimes with Upamecano and co pushing forward and trying to stay on the front foot. You need a number 9 who can play with his back to post sometimes, who can punish them for those spaces and gaps they leave. But I don't think that it has enough pace, because if you look at United, to be honest, they are essentially a counter-attacking side. Yeah. And when they break forward, they need a lot of pace, which Odion Ighalo sadly doesn't have.
We'll wait and see whether Solskjaer will just surprise us by naming Odion Ighalo in the starting 11 for tonight against Leipzig. Let's get the pre-match thoughts now of the coach of Leipzig, Julian Nagelsmann, speaking ahead of today's game.
Against the best German team, Bayern Munich, and you score 3 goals in a away game, it's always important for your self-confidence. And I think the self-confidence for the game tomorrow is very important for my team, because the first game 2 weeks ago were not that good for us, and we got a big defeat. So it was our team could recognize we're on the same level with Bayern Munich on the game yesterday, and we'll be well prepared for tomorrow. And I think the self-confidence. We have to be brave tomorrow. We have to score our own goals. We want to win the game. We want to go to the knockout stage. So we have to be self-confident tomorrow. And I think the game were very good for this.
Yeah. Julian, like Nagelsmann speaking there ahead of tonight's game. Of course, over the weekend, they played a very exciting 3-3 draw against Bayern Munich. Trying to take inspiration from that game into the match against United. Bada.
Well, I mean, he alluded to a game which I almost forgot. A game in which almighty Bayern Munich had to score a late leveler to get a point from. Leipzig was going to win that game. And, if they went head-to-head, toe-to-toe with Bayern Munich and almost won, then you've got to fancy them against the United team who, as evidenced in their 2 last league games, Southampton and West Ham, they started slowly. They can't afford to have a slow start against this Leipzig team, because the game might be over before they start their last minute rallying. There might be no opportunity for that, because Leipzig has a lot of attacking threats, and they will take their chances when they have them. And if United want to hope on a late comeback, it might not happen. So they've got to start strong. They've got to get Bruno Fernandes on it from the very start. Remember against West Ham, it took Rashford and Fernandes rising from the bench to change the coloration of the game, because West Ham looked like they were going to run away with that game until those 2 individuals came in. They've got to start the game and not only just be on the pitch, but boss the game from the very beginning and capitalize on those occasional sloppiness that Leipzig will afford you. They'll lose the ball, and Manchester United can counter very quickly, transition very quickly, use the pace of Rashford, use the pace of Greenwood, use the intelligence of Bruno Fernandes, maybe
Van der Beek.
I don't know that Van der Beek didn't really impress against West Ham. He was hauled off at halftime, actually, for Fernandes to come in. So I think that it would be more quick transition, maybe Mata, Fernandes in central midfield areas, Pogba if he plays, McTominay to hustle and break up play and get the ball to these creative forces who can set the runners free, and they can use their pace to hurt Leipzig. It will be an intriguing a very, very intriguing game of football. But, Leipzig will not make it any easy. They would not, in any way, shape, or form, give any free gifts whatsoever to Manchester United. Manchester must get that point. They must earn that point.
They just have to earn it, and that's what they're looking forward to. But just hold on. We need to go on a break. We'll come back to you after this short break. All right, welcome back. I mean, we saw Euros, World Cup qualifications, talking about the one of Europe for Qatar 2022. But Bada, before we let you go, just a quick one on PSG and, of course, Besiktas. We know PSG, they need a draw, to get through and all that, with all of them on 9 points, except, of course, the whipping boys in that group. So, of all of them, we have Leipzig, we have United, we have PSG. Which one would drop to Europa tonight? Because Europa are waiting for candidates to celebrate.
I think Leipzig or United. PSG will beat Istanbul, get what they need, or at least get a draw. So that team that drops into the Europa League will be one of United or PSG. I'll hate that, or Leipzig rather. I'll hate that it's United. But, if they don't do the business on the night, Thursday night football might be waiting for them.
To know that Leipzig, semi-finalist, right? The last time, and PSG got to the final. So these two clubs are actually struggling to really get into the knockout phase of the UEFA Champions League, which is, we will say it's very important for both teams. Now, for PSG, the way they set up their team and all that, everyone has been talking about the fact that Thomas Tuchel is really not the coach to actually take this club to a higher level. What's your own view about this?
Well, if you've won the league multiple times and you've arrived at the UEFA Champions League final and narrowly lost to Bayern Munich, I think it's hard to have that argument that you are not the right man. In recent times, they've had high-profile coaches like Ancelotti and co, who never did as good. So you've got to give him another chance. And I think that they'll progress today without a doubt. But they can go on and win it is a different matter. I think they're still missing that little extra, especially in attack. Last UEFA Champions League final, they had the Argentine, what's his name now? Icardi. He didn't play. Cavani was ostracized from the team. Then they were playing Choupo-Moting. No disrespect to him. Choupo-Moting is not, in the same caliber as the world's best strikers like Lewandowski and co. And they paid for it because if you remember in that final, they created the early chances. And if they had just a bit more quality, aside what Neymar and Mbappe offered, they would have won the game. So I think just that little extra is what PSG requires, not a change in coaching or management at this moment in time. They just need that little extra push, and they'll be good. See how careless they were in losing at home to United. But look at the brilliant performance they put up at Old Trafford. They pretty much, especially in the second half, Neymar was playing out of the skin. Some of the best football I've seen by an individual in recent times. And so you really can't argue against a manager who, most recently was in the final of the Champions League, has won the league, and is on the brink of qualifying for the next round of the Champions League again. I don't think that argument is fair at this moment in time as to whether he has what it takes to deliver for PSG. I think on the evidence of the work that he has done so far, the answer is yes.
Okay. Well, we'll just leave it there. And thank you so much for taking our time once again to join us this morning, Bada.
Thanks, Cecilia. Thanks, Tayo. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Tayo, quickly, I'll just take one tweet before we look at the papers. And this one is coming from, Gian Philip. He's talking about Paul Pogba. Tayo, I think both of you are actually in agreement. It says, Pogba and his agents are acting disrespectfully towards United. Why come out with such statements on the eve of a big game? Why not wait until January when the transfer window is open? United coach should bench Pogba and send him to the reserves. Oh, that's a bit harsh. Come on.
Yeah, that's a bit extreme. But I mean, the message is very clear. It's unacceptable. And if you've seen the reactions from Manchester United fans, ex-players, they're not having it. And there are few Pogba fans out there saying, "No, this guy is the agent, not Pogba talking." But we know Mino Raiola. We know it's
very influential.
Antecedents, and everything is saying surely must have gotten approval from Pogba.
Of course.
This morning, still nothing from Pogba to perhaps just
denounce it. I'm like,
no disclaimer, nothing.
No disclaimer. Just say my head, my everything, my heart.
Just something to reassure the fans.
Yeah,
nothing like that. So everyone is going with what the agent has said. Pogba is unhappy, and his stay at Old Trafford is over.
Okay.
It's quite interesting.
Okay, MD Special, MD Special says, as a Manchester United fan, I would love to see United qualify tonight, but honestly, I'm skeptical, wishing the Reds all the best.
It's a tough fixture, very tricky.
Yeah, it is.
Because we talked about how United start so slow, and they tried to come back in the second half. Against West Ham, they did similar.
Again.
But they could have lost that game easily. West Ham had several clear-cut chances in the first half. It could have been 4. It could have been 4-0. Then how do you come back from 4-0 down? So they have to be very careful against this Leipzig side, who are a lot more prolific in front of goal than West Ham.
Okay, Noble Flyerman says, although Ole seem inconsistent, but his magic wand will come out shining tonight. I see us winning 2-1, but sadly, I won't be watching Messi versus Ronaldo as my heart and allegiance lies in Old Trafford.
Fair enough.
United forever.
Fair
okay,
enough.
we understand that,
Fair
right?
enough.
Just watch your club and see
watch your club in action.
It's going to go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, time to take a look at the papers. I'll start with the Sporting Sun here. Sporting Sun, Champions League. The big headline here is Igalo may lead United's assault. Okay, and we know that, but that, I mean, he's saying,
that'll be a big shock.
A big shock to everyone because he says he doesn't think Ole would trust him enough to lead his attack. But then he doesn't have a choice right now because he needs Rashford and he needs another striker to back up Rashford and not just missing Greenwood or Daniel James and, in a big game like this. And they're going to Germany away from home. Shoulder in Camp Nou. Okay, the rivalry continues. Onuachu equals 10-year goal record in Belgium, clinches Man of the award, Man of the Match award.
Man of the Match, of course.
Okay, we talked about that
yesterday.
No doubt. Okoye, Raw's best coach, have worked with. Okay, that's Maduka Okoye. Okay, he said Gennett Raw is the best coach he's worked with.
That's the guy who's giving him the chance. When you were in the division, in the lower division
in Germany, and he brought you out. Of course, now
you're top guy. You're playing regularly in the Netherlands. You're starting week in week out. So you can understand it's going to. His appreciation for Gennett Raw is very understandable.
Yeah, it's out. Ronaldo said for new Juventus deal, so he's going nowhere. Partey faces Arteta's sanction. He has actually reacted to that, when he left the pitch and all that. But I think there's no sanction there. It's just one of those things. He has addressed it already. Vardy takes pidgin English lessons. Okay,
that was quite funny. I saw that on Instagram.
Okay. Barcelona considers reviving Giroud interest. Really? That's
Barcelona.
Strange. Yeah. Barcelona, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
Osimhen doubtful for Napoli's next 3 games. Get well soon, man. Want to see you back on the pitch.
Full recovery. Let's go to complete sports now. That's our next paper for review. Destiny Child. Igalo eyes first UCL goal. That's if he plays. And that's if he plays more than just garbage minutes later tonight against Leipzig United. He must not lose battle. That's against Leipzig as well. A lot of stories concerning the UEFA Champions League. Of course, agent Raiola, Pogba's time is over at United. We talked about that extensively on the show. Shemi Ajayi is also in the news. It says 5-1 loss should not derail West Brom's season. They lost scandalously over the weekend against Crystal Palace. Of course, they had a red card as well, so that contributed perhaps to their loss. Okoye Maduka is also in the news. It says, Nyama's Eagles, greatest goalie ever. Of course, that's debatable. There are a few people out there that will still choose the Okalas and the Pizarro Fights.
Yeah, of course.
But Nyama is definitely in the conversation.
That's
Bottom
what
line.
is important, yeah.
Simeone out for 2 more weeks. What else? Sparta coach defends Moses' work ethic. Has there ever been any doubt about his work ethic?
That's a shocker. That's a shocker there. Okay. Just hearing that for the first time. Okay. All right, Tayo, we need to leave the studio now.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a great day.
I am Ty Salam. Try and join us again tomorrow.